Dang, this is delicious. It's creamy. It's like it just melts
Thank
in
you,
your
brother.
mouth.
Thank you.
This ain't just something you slap together, bro.
That ain't your mama's cheesesteak, baby.
No.
You're now tuning in to Unfiltered.
Hey Chris, we got
Hey.
the company party today. What
Oh,
are we
that's
doing?
today?
What are we doing for food? Like, we need some food.
I mean, what do you think? Like burgers or pizza? What do you want?
I'm in the mood for burgers.
Burgers?
Yeah, burgers. Something.
But what about something
meaty.
else? Like some Phillies?
Yeah,
you
give
know,
me a cheesesteak.
The only
I'm
thing
really
is that
in the mood
like
for
from
cheesesteak.
where though? Because
Oh.
there's like food trucks, there's restaurant. Let me call Josh Eats.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me call him. I got a quick second. Yo, Josh.
Yo.
What? Bro, telephone technology works different nowadays, right?
You called? I came, my friend.
Brother, hey, we got the company party today. I
Uh-huh.
need food. The staff talked. They said they want burgers, they want shakes, they want Phillies. What you got?
There's one spot that comes top of mind for me.
But listen, I need it quick. I need it fresh. And we're here in Fort Lauderdale, in Margate. So like,
Yeah.
Is there a spot around here?
Of course there is. In my hometown of Coconut Creek.
Okay.
BRGR Stop.
Okay.
Been around 10 years.
Okay. Got you, brother. All right, cool.
And I got one better for you.
What you got?
We're going to go ahead and bring the owner himself.
Nah. Oh, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You
told
weren't
you.
lying.
You phone home to me, I phone
Hey,
home
man,
to Mike.
this is crazy, man. We just teleport nowadays. Well, before I let you introduce yourself to everybody here, this is how we start another episode of Unfiltered FTL 2026. Thank you guys for tuning in to all of our episodes in 2025. We got a lot of stuff in store for you guys for this upcoming year. We wanted to do things a little different. So we're going to go ahead and highlight an entrepreneur that, I would say that has a lot of different types of businesses, and maybe you guys know some of these businesses. So without further ado, introduce yourself. That's your camera over there. Let them know who you are and what you own, man.
My name's Mike. I own BRGR Stop in Coconut Creek in Fort Lauderdale with my partner Mark, and that's it. Just these two restaurants right now.
Awesome. So, the main reason, I can't forget the main reason, I got a company party today, man. This guy's telling me that you got the burgers, the Phillies, the shakes. You got that all under control? That's the spot to go?
It's a spot. We've been in South Florida for 10 years, and we do very unique craft burgers. We have a lot of American, throwback comfort food on our menu.
Yeah.
And, we have all kinds of cool shakes and, Phillies and just different items that kind of bring you back to your childhood. Just kind of like it's like Americana. The way we did our store is, we based it off of, old school American comfort food, craft beer, automobiles, memorabilia, and, graffiti. So it's just like, what's more American, right, than graffiti from the street, old cars, motorcycles, and, beer, burgers, and shakes.
Awesome. When you were creating the concept of BRGR Stop, was it just focused on burgers essentially in the beginning?
In the beginning, it was focused on burgers. So I had owned Bella Roma Italian restaurant in Coconut Creek for many, many years. And I was looking to do a burger spot. And we actually, a friend of mine and I, we were looking down in downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And we were looking at a space. This was so many years ago. I don't even honestly remember how many years ago, but way before BRGR Stop was even a thought. And we had looked at a space, and when we went to go pull the trigger, they had already leased it. And it was, I asked the landlord, I said, what are you putting in there? It was the old Limoncello space in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And they said, we're actually rented it to a burger place. And it became Rock Burger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on the strip, right there.
Yeah. So after that, we were looking down in Brickell area. Because at that time, I was like, you know what? I'd like to move down to Miami. And, my mother ended up getting sick. So that kind of got scratched. So it just kind of got forgotten for a long time, And then I had always gone to Charm City, from day one. And I love their burgers. And, Mike Saperstein, the owner there, is fantastic. And then I started going to Tucker Duke's in Deerfield Beach. And I was going there all the time. We were going to brunch at the time, my girlfriend, who's now my wife, and my mom and, our bulldog. We would go there for brunch. Mm-hmm. And I was just amazed at how well they were doing in a warehouse district in Deerfield Beach, with really not a lot of houses around.
Yeah.
And it just started putting the bug in my head again. I was like, I really, really always wanted to do a burger place. And, what happened was there was a Jamaican restaurant next door that used to be a Dairy Queen over at Bella Roma. And when it became available, you know, actually it didn't become available at first. These guys rented the space, and they were going to put in a smoothie bar, and the smoothie bar idea kind of jumped from a smoothie bar to a chicken wing place to a hot dog place. And I contacted my landlord, and I was like, hey, you know, these guys are supposed to put in a smoothie bar, and if they're going to be doing chicken wings, I sell a ton of chicken wings next door.
Yeah.
This is going to affect my parking over here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like unfair. He goes, no. That's not what we agreed upon. You're supposed to be doing a smoothie bar.
Mhm.
So these guys, honestly, they were two nice guys, but they were in there and they were, you know, there were two brothers and they were fighting a lot all the time. It was like crazy what was going on in there. And you know,
So they actually opened up the smoothie bar.
No, they never opened up. No, these guys ended up buying a bunch of used equipment on Craigslist and they just kind of piled it in there.
Mhm.
And they were nice guys. But there was fighting going on. They didn't get along with each other, and it was just like brutality happening in there. And I was just like, you know, they paying rent for like 7-8 months, and I was like, what the hell's going on here? I called my landlord, and I was like, yo, what's up with these guys? And he's like, they keep paying me, so
Yeah,
you know, there's not nothing going on. And then the one guy approached me, and he's like, you know, hey, would you be interested in being my partner? And I said to him, honestly, I said, I can never be partners with you, your brother. You guys are fighting all day, every day. I can't deal with it. You know, I can't.
Yeah.
I said, so let me come over there and we'll have a conversation later. So I walked over there. We had a little conversation. And I said, listen, if you're interested in just getting out of here, you know, I would make you an offer on, you know, whatever you have in here. Because some of it's good and some of it's junk. But I could use some of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, you know, I called my landlord and I said, hey, I'm thinking about maybe taking this place from these guys because they don't really have any direction where they're going. And at that time, they were going to open a burger place.
What year was this? 10 years ago? So what, 2015?
I would say probably like 12 years ago.
Okay.
And but they actually were calling it Burger Stop. They were going to open a burger place.
Oh,
So
they came up with the name.
They had the name BRGR Stop.
Got it.
And I don't even think they came up with the name. Apparently, some kid from Coconut Creek High School came up with the name because I guess
That's interesting.
I guess he was talking to them, and he's like, "Hey, what would you name this if it was a burger place?" And the kid thought, from what I read online, "Oh, well, Wingstop. What about Burger Stop?"
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if that's a true story. That's what I heard, but the name was already in place, and you know, they started putting things together just a little bit. And I was like, you know what? This is perfect. I own Bellaroma next door. I've wanted a burger place for like the last 8 or 9 years. I think that I can feed off my customers because at that time I had lines out the door at Bellaroma. We were doing very well there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if I could take my own customer base and transport into next door and feed off that and then build, you know, it would be a good situation.
100%.
And I was like, you know, I want a total Wynwood vibe with this. So, you know, I had told my landlord, I was like, hey, you know, I think I'm going to, you know, make an offer on this for these guys. And he's like, well, what would you put in there? And I'm like, well, I think we'd just do, you know, craft beer burger bar.
Yeah.
And he said, well, think about it for a couple of weeks. And if, you know, if you're sure, you know, then, you know, that's fine. You know, because I had already been a tenant for him for many years. At that point, you know, I made them an offer on their used equipment. And a lot of it was garbage, but some of it was okay. So it wasn't a big offer. And, you know, they took it. So, you know, we decided to do that. And then when I went to go sign the lease, you know, my partner said to me, you know, I like that idea, what you want to put in there. Would you be interested in having a partner? And I said, well, who? And he's like, well, me. I said, you're a super successful guy. Why would you want to be partners with someone like me? I'm just a regular, you know, restaurant guy, and you don't need that. And he goes, you know, you've always been a good tenant for me and a hard worker, and I see how you promote, and I think that we could be very successful together and open up many places, you know. And you know, so that was the plan. So I said, let's do it, and that's how it started.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now, with Bellaroma, was that your first restaurant that you managed and owned, or did you have a restaurant before that?
So before Bellaroma, you know, I was in and out of, you know, school, and when I was younger, you know, money was tight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up quitting high school, you know, like a fool, with half a credit, you know, to go, and I ended up losing, you know, football scholarships, and you know, at that time I was in good shape, not like this. But
here locally, you went to high school?
Yeah, I went to Coconut Creek High School.
Oh, so
I was raised in Coconut Creek. I was raised in Coconut Creek.
Crazy?
So I was born in Fort Lauderdale at Broward General. Then we moved to New York for, you know, a few years when I was young, and then, you know, we came back here, and I lived in Coconut Creek most of my life. So I've been here for a long time. Yeah. So having gone to school here, elementary, middle and high school, I knew a lot of people in the area, and I saw, I had worked at Bellaroma when I was a kid. Then, I decided, okay, well, obviously football's not working out right now, so I need to make money. My mom, was a school teacher, and school teachers back then made no money. Even today, they don't really make a lot. And I saw how my mom struggled.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, I need to figure out how to make money now. And at that point, I was in the gym all the time, and all the guys that I hung out with in the gym were one of two groups. Everybody was either drug dealers or they were bartenders. And, I don't do drugs. I never did drugs in my life. So that wasn't, an avenue that I wanted to explore. And I decided that, I think bartending would be a good fit for me.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was delivering pizza at Bellaroma as a kid while I was in college. And I decided to talk to the manager of the Cheetah over in Pompano. And he hooked me up with this guy. I don't even remember the guy's name, but he owned ABC Bartending School.
Okay.
And I went to bartending school, and then I started bartending, and I ended up in the nightclubs a couple of years later in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And, it was a good thing. And I started making a lot of money, and
that was the good old days.
You
When,
guys probably crossed paths. I wouldn't be
that's
surprised.
probably, that's when the living room was there, off the hookah was there.
well, it was actually before that. So upstairs where Euro is, it was called Play.
Correct. Yeah, Play. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. America's Backyard's been there for a while.
Baby Wild.
So-
Yeah. Revolution, all that stuff. Yeah.
So I was at Play from day one with Mike Tuck.
Because I worked security there when I was young. I was like 18. That was one of my first jobs when I was here.
Yeah.
So, and I was bouncing around there. Maybe that's where,
Nice.
I don't know. Maybe I was working for you. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
So I worked there for from day one, and then the club got sold, and then I went to work at Velvet Lounge, and I ended up becoming a manager over at Velvet Lounge and bartending also, and then running promotions there, and then I went back with my former boss who I loved, and we're still good friends to this day, Mike Tuck, and we went. I went back with him over to Stereo, and we were there for a while, and then at a point, I was like, all right, I have enough money saved. I need to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I ended up buying Bellaroma, and I had some help from a friend of mine that helped finance it.
Yeah.
Because he's like, you're going to need your money to build the store and run it, and I'll help you out. So he did that, and I got out of the nightclub business at that time. And I had a good opportunity actually with Dave Grutman down in Miami, because he had just started to become pretty big down there.
Yeah.
And obviously he's the king of Miami now with all the restaurants and nightclubs and the marketing companies. I mean, he's a legend. So I decided that I wanted to do my own thing, and I bought the little Italian restaurant and built it. It was falling apart. It was doing no money at all, and it took me years to get back on top. I worked 7 years with no day off. I killed myself doing that.
See, a lot of restaurant owners that are trying to get into it, because when COVID happened, I mean, I feel like I talked about it before. There was a door, an opportunity that a lot of people got into restaurants because the leases were very cheap. So they're like, oh, I couldn't do it because the upfront cost is too much. So then now the space is going for dirt cheap. They're going in, but then they have no idea that it's like so much hard work, and you have to pretty much be there almost every day and put it in. So the fact that you say that the 7 years you're working there all the time, I hope that whoever's watching this, if you own a restaurant and stuff like that, like understand that it's a grind. Yeah. It's not easy. A lot of people make it look easy. Marketing makes it look all spruced up and everything, but there's an operator behind. And behind that operator is the operator, whether it's the owner or the general manager, they're really the ones driving the entire revenue up. So if the business is not doing good, maybe the operator is not the person that should be doing that job. That because I've seen businesses fail because of that.
It's tough. In the restaurant business, if you don't give it your life in the beginning, you're not going to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This business is hard if you have a family. It's hard if you're looking to have a relationship, when you're young, if you get in this, because the restaurant is your relationship.
Yep.
The restaurant is your life. You're married to the restaurant. And this business is a business of pennies.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not on top of your game with every single thing, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
And if you don't put all your effort into it, it's just not going to happen for
Yeah.
you. And in today's market, with the rents in South Florida being so high, and the restaurant business is a way different business today than it was before.
Yeah.
COVID changed a lot of things for people. Before COVID, both burger stops, we had just opened Fort Lauderdale and we were busy. And Coconut Creek was packed all the time. And COVID changed life. Mm-hmm. With what happened with the cost of goods, with the cost of labor,
Yeah.
and the cost of insurance, and the cost of everything since then, it's been a very big struggle. Financially before COVID, things were very well, and today it's a different situation.
Yeah.
Even in at BRGR Stop, we went in Fort Lauderdale, 3 years since we took a paycheck. We're just starting to come back now. Where all our bills are paid, but we're just starting to come back now. And Coconut Creek, we went 2 years without a paycheck, and we've been like 5-6 months now. We've been making money again and getting back. But you have to adapt with the times. The Coconut Creek demographic changed a lot, so you have to adapt to the people that move to your area, to the financial demographic of what comes into your area. Because BRGR Stop from day one was like a craft beer burger bar that's on a higher end.
Elevated concept.
Yeah, it's like an elevated concept. It's not like, and nothing against anybody who's fast food or a QSR, but this is something different. This is like a sports gastropub, and our quality. So food-wise, I always make everything the way I make it for myself, or I say the way I would make it for my mother. All right? And when you do that and you use quality product, it's not cheap. So when people expect in the marketplace for burgers to be $10, $12, whatever, it's not the way it is if you want to serve a quality product. Yes. Can I buy garbage and sell food for that and make money? I don't know if I can make money selling for $10, but you can buy garbage and do that. And there's a lot of people who do that. And you know what? There's a lot of things in hospitality that are different that maybe we could touch on in a little bit.
Yeah.
But when we use quality product, you have to charge.
Yep.
We're listen, at the end of the day, people get into the restaurant business for a lot of different reasons. You get in for the love of food. You get in for creativity. Like last night, we went to my boy's place, Mia, up in Delray. Jason Binder. To me, he's the best chef. He's one of the very best chefs in South Florida. And I'm very good friends with him, and I'm good friends with Steve Materano. They're two of my favorites. Both their restaurants are actually my two very favorite restaurants. Both very different. One classical Italian upscale, and one like kind of high-end fusion Asian, Italian, but on a very different level.
Yeah.
It's like on a fine culinary level, And when you do food like that and you do it with all your love, like Jason does and like Stevie does, when you do food like that, you have to charge money for it because you're here to make money. So do you get into it for the love in the beginning? 100%. You want to create awesome dishes. You want to make people happy. You want people to feel good when they come into your place.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, as you progress through life, you're doing this to make money.
Yeah.
So you have to say to yourself, all right, if the clientele's not here where I can do $18 or $20 burgers, what can I do to make this work for us? So, about 3 years ago, I was in New York, and I was at 7th Street Burger, and I was like, man, this concept is great. Their smash burgers are fantastic.
Yeah.
They had opened like 19 locations within a year, and they're like 500 square feet each. And I was like, they're killing it here. And their whole menu is simple. Single, double, triple.
Yep.
And they have fries with a burger and cheese on top with, I think, like chopped onions.
Yeah.
And they have a Coke, a Sprite, and a water.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
That's it.
Simple.
Yeah.
Talk about the simplicity of a menu.
I've been to that location. They have many locations, but when first time I went there, I was like, I like this. I was like, this is,
I fell in love with
crazy.
it. And I fell in love with it. And what happened was,
Great concept.
when the cost of beef started going through the roof during COVID and a little bit after COVID, I was like, man, I don't know what we're going to do here. This is a tough situation. We raised our prices like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And people started complaining. But it's just like at the end of the day.
But it's happening everywhere.
Yeah, we're going to make money. Well,
Yeah.
now today, I think people are starting to realize the cost of food is not coming back down after COVID.
No.
These big corporations, they raised. Businesses failed. Some businesses stayed. But every restaurant that closes, there's always someone with money to open up right in your spot right after.
Another one.
Because everybody, it's a funny thing, right? A lot of people, they just have that dream of, I want a restaurant.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize the hard work that has to go into it to make it successful.
Not all sunshine and rainbows, man.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No,
There's a lot of heartache and tears with this. Like the
it's-
stress level is unbearable sometimes.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's just funny. It's great that you mentioned about. To me, I call it noise. There's a lot of noise. Because a lot of these restaurants, like, because I've been doing restaurant marketing, I see the back ends, I see the kitchens, I see the type of products that some restaurants order and the products. And like anybody can get a frozen patty, put barbecue sauce, and call it a barbecue burger. But the difference over here is now we got a quality patty, not frozen, with seasoning that's in-house made. And then you have a custom-made barbecue sauce, that's house sauce, things like that. It's not the same apple to apple. But the problem is that the marketing, because they're both called barbecue burgers, people are gonna be like, well, this is $5 and this is $20. Well, I'm gonna go here. Now they're gonna learn the hard way because they're gonna go to that barbecue burger for $5. I'm like, this tastes like ass. What the hell is this? This is trash. So then now it's like, what do we do? And unfortunately, they think that it's gonna be the same taste over here.
Yeah.
So that customer sometimes doesn't go in there. And this is where I would say, like, people like you, like foodie influencers, when you guys post these burgers and food, and you guys actually talk about the quality of the product, now they're living, because you're a walking testimonial pretty much.
100%.
So then now they're like, oh, the fact that Josh is saying that this is good, not just that it's a McDonald's burger, it's the same shit. It's because unfortunately that's the thing. A lot of people call it, with chicken wings, it's probably the chicken wings and burgers. Chicken wings particularly, there's without saying names, there's a couple restaurants that they say they have like 50 wing sauces. All they do is they buy the sauce and they mix it up. They put a little honey garlic here and a little this. Oh yeah, now we have a honey garlic ranch. And I'm like, is it house made? What's something secret? Oh, nothing. We just kind of mix these two sauces. I'm like, I can do that at home. Yep. I'm like, what the hell's the difference? And on top of that, you guys are mixing so many sauces. The sausage created a whole different sauce. But then we have other places that they make their own sauce, and you taste the difference. You taste the difference of the chicken. Taste the difference of the way it's cooked. So those are the ones that are going to continue striving, and that's where marketing, and that's where like the message has to be across. Like, we are not the bottom of the barrel, burger on the food truck. Like, we are like an elevated burger. And that's where I think BRGR Stop, even with me, from my end, I've always seen it like that, because me and my wife, before we even got married, we used to go there a lot, and we're like, man, this is a good ass burger. I fell in love with the
Copper Point?
No, jam. It's a jam. It's a
tomato
bacon
jam.
Tomato jam is what it was.
Oh, the tomato jam. It's a San Marzano tomato jam.
And I was like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
The PB&J burger.
I fell in love so much that my wife was like, we got to find where we can buy. So she said this. She was like, well, we got to find where we can just buy it and then try to make it our own or whatever. I was just like, it ain't gonna taste the same. I was just like, it's just not. I don't know how to cook.
It's not gonna taste the same. So it's funny, when so a couple things, like back to where, like, the whole thing where people expect burgers to be just burgers at some point. A lot of people walk in the door and they see the name BRGR Stop and they think we're like again, I won't say names, so I'll say QSR. So anybody who doesn't know, QSR is a quick service restaurant. Yeah. So that would be like your chains that you could walk in and grab a burger, right? Mm-hmm. Or a burrito or whatever, those kind of places. That's not what we are.
It's not made to order. It's not made
we're a full sit down restaurant.
It's real simple. It's not fast food. It's good food.
We are not fast food. We are good food, and everything is homemade and everything is custom. Now, are there things that we buy that we use as bases, or even a couple of the sauces that we buy to use? Yes, because those aren't particular flavors that we were using in the beginning. But when we saw the demand, like, we'll go back to chicken wings real quick, right? Certain things people ask for all the time that we didn't have because we were making all our own sauces. Yeah. But when something becomes so popular and something's made that's like easy to grab right off the shelf and it's good, and that's what people are used to, then we added a couple of things like that onto our menu. But that's not what BRGR Stop is really about. When people walk in and they see the name, I've seen this a lot. People will walk in and they look at the menu and they'll turn around and walk out. And it's the same thing every time. Too expensive, because they're expecting it to be with the name BRGR Stop. Again, back to when the kid said, right? Oh, there's a wing stop called BRGR Stop. Well, we're not a QSR. Yeah. So that name probably wasn't a good name for us to use for what we're doing. But we've been open 10 years. It's a little too late to switch at this point.
You have the age now. Now the branding is there no matter what. And I mean, there's ways of going around about that too. Yeah. But you, and I wouldn't recommend changing the name, because then now people are going to think that it's you're brand new and things like that. But no,
that's the battle we've been fighting for a long time.
Yeah, it is.
And then again, with the cost of food, right? Burgers and pizza are two things that have evolved so much, right? So, like, I'm a burger aficionado. That's why I wanted a burger place, because my whole life, if it ain't pizza, it's burgers. That's why I got a little big like this. So that being said, right? That being said,
these pizza burgers, Mike.
With burgers, right? So you have your QSR burgers, right? And then you have like your chain, like McDonald's burger that, I grew up on eating McDonald's all the time as a kid. And I love McDonald's back then.
Big Mac.
So mine was a double quarter pounder with cheese, ketchup and cheese only. So when you have that.
That's the same. That's my order too, bro.
Really?
Exactly like that, bro. Exactly like that.
Simple, straight to the point.
Yeah. So then you had places like Five Guys opened up, which is an incredible franchise, and they elevated the game a little bit. Then you have BurgerFi that opened up, which, one of the owners of BurgerFi used to come in our restaurant all the time. We were actually talking about him yesterday.
Falcone?
No, honestly, if I remember correctly, I think his name is Gino, but I'm not sure. I know he.
But aren't they part of corporate? Because they're starting to disappear now. They're part of a corporation.
Well,
they're starting to now.
They started on their own, and then they started selling franchises immediately.
Yeah.
And they blew up.
Yeah.
And then they ended up, I believe they ended up taking some investors. And then I think now that there's private equity involved, I'm not 100% sure, but BurgerFi had its struggles, and now they're coming back and they're starting to pop up again all over the place. But, you know, so again, you have like your McDonald's, then you have your Five Guys, your BurgerFis, and then you have like your sports bars, right? Every sports bar used to have one burger. Now every sports bar has 5 or 6 burgers. Then you have like a Cheesecake Factory has a burger menu with like 10 or 12 burgers.
I hate that.
So then you have, you know, what I call, you know, your elevated burger bar, which is like, you know, like us, like a sports gastropub, right? So we do, you know, our craft burgers, and I've done so many different things, from our regular, you know, CBS blend that was, you know, custom made for us in the beginning, that we worked on for a long time with a meat purveyor here in South Florida, you know, and then you have prime meat that we've used for burgers, Wagyu beef that we've used for burgers, dry aged beef that we use for burgers.
Wow.
There's so many different things. And when you go to the store and you go to the grocery store, you could get ground beef, which is, you know, you really don't know what it is. And then you can get chuck, which it only has to be 10% chuck to call it chuck.
Wow.
And then, you know, really those, and then you have sirloin, right?
Crazy. He's myth busting right now.
No, there's a lot of things in the food industry that people, if you go down the rabbit hole, you're not going to like what you find.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then you have your sirloin. Then you can walk over to the pre-done department and you can get the 1 pound package of Wagyu beef. You can sometimes get some dry aged beef, but you cannot get, like what we serve in our place, you can't get in a grocery store. Yeah. So when you say that a burger should be $10, well, or you can, I've had people say online, well, I can buy a package of ground beef and make 2 burgers for $10-12 with buns, ketchup, and cheese and whatever. It's not what you're going to get by us.
No.
What you're getting with us is a custom blend, and you're getting what comes out of my mind. You know, a couple people have called me like the Willy Wonka of the burger world. It's very difficult to put flavors together and make them all work all the time. And I've had hits and I've had misses. But everything that I put out, I feel like it's good enough for the public to be satisfied with, because I don't want to put out anything that is just like, okay, well, I don't have anything this month.
Just for the sake of putting something out.
There's a lot of thought that goes into it. And, you know, and Josh and I have become very good friends in the last few months. And we've had a lot of late night conversations about food where we'll talk for like 2 hours about a burger, you know, and just bouncing ideas back and forth, because we're both creatives, you know, and I thrive with other creatives all the time. So, you know, there's a lot of thought that goes into this.
That's really good to hear, because a lot of people, they jump on the bandwagon because they see a fad. Like, for example, like, I don't know, like when BRGR Tacos came out, right? All of a sudden, everybody's selling BRGR Tacos. I'm like, what the heck? Just because it's on popular on TikTok, right? Just happened with the Dubai chocolate, right? It kind of made sense, and I know you guys did it. You guys had to do it because
it was actually Josh's idea.
It makes sense. That makes sense. But there's places that don't even sell milkshakes, and there's something. I'm like, what? I'm like, why would I get a milkshake at this place? Like, but they're just trying to hop on that bandwagon because they see the money going to these other places. Like there was even the little what's it called, the Labubu, whatever.
Labubu steak and shake.
Somebody made a freaking Labubu milkshake, and I was like, what? So I don't know. That's crazy.
It's crazy because I mean, honestly, we could talk all day here.
Yeah.
But with social media has changed the landscape of the restaurant business. With our kind of place, maybe not like an old school mom and pop pizza place, but with our type of place, if you don't have social media, you're dead in the water, because mailers don't work anymore. Nobody does TV commercials. It's too, you know, too expensive.
Emails,
you know, nobody does the, you know, email blasts don't work like they used to. Text message blasts, you know, they do work, but you know, there's very tight parameters and there's lawsuits and this that we've gone through the rigmarole with that. But you know, social media is where it's at. And for a long time, we were just doing stills, and now everything's got to be reels, videos, and that's what works. So when you have a product like Dubai chocolate and it goes viral all over, of course, everybody's going to jump on the bandwagon because they see that's what's getting views, that's what's getting hits. Is it going to bring people into my store? You know, I don't live here anymore. I live about an hour north of Atlanta in Kenton. And even up there, everybody's doing Dubai this, Dubai that. You know, where my wife works, they were doing a Dubai brownie. You know, so it's just like, you know, I was bouncing off with Josh, you know, what should I do for the Shake of the Month? I think this was like 4 months ago. And he's like, bro, you got to do Dubai. And I was like, I don't know why I never even thought of that. And I was like, but if I do a Dubai, it's got to be right. Like we made our own pistachio cream. You know, most people, they just buy whatever. Or people aren't even buying pistachio cream. They're just buying like food colored garbage. Like we're buying pistachios. We're grinding them. We're roasting them. We're making everything, you know, homemade. That shake was so expensive to make. We charged a lot of money for that shake, but we should have been charging more. You know, same thing with like our cheesesteak. Our cheesesteak is like a loss leader. You know, our cheesesteak our cost is so much money to make because it's not like a normal cheesesteak.
Yeah.
So it's just like a lot of our products are like that. And people today, I see what happens because my partner called me up. I want to say this was like maybe 3 months ago, and he's like, "It's National Cheeseburger Day. What are we going to do for it?" And I was like, "What are we going to do for it?" And I said,
That's a big one for you guys.
I said, "I know what we're going to do. We're just going to do a $12 double smash with fries, or we'll do a $12 regular cheeseburger with fries, and it's a good discount off on those both products. It gives the smash people the option, the regular people the option." And that day was a Wednesday, and I was shocked at the end of the day how many people came out. Now, I had been going back and forth in my head about size of product, cost of goods. How can we make this better for the client base, the customers, where it's more affordable for them and we can still make a living?
Yeah.
And really the only way to do that is to change portion size. You can't just lower price, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, do we do that? Do we do this? Do we do a special one day a week, whatever? So what we did that day, it hit home with me because at the end of the night when I looked at the reports for both stores, we were packed at both stores. So we've continued that Wednesday going forward, and every Wednesday has been much better. Now, are we making money hand over fist? Of course not. But are we covering our costs? Yes. Are we making a little bit? Yes. But it's bringing people through the door. They're seeing other products, and they're coming back on other days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what
Sticky.
you got to do. That.
Get them through your door. Get them through your door.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
And what I saw, what that day taught me was people are going for cost.
Yeah.
Do they want quality food? Yes, of course they do. Do people love BRGR Stop? Yes. But the people that used to come 2-3 times a week, now they come 1 or 2 times every other week.
Yeah.
Because when you have kids and a family and you're coming in and a burger, is, whatever, anywhere between $12 and $18, $19, right? And then you get shakes for the kids, you get appetizers, the parents get beers. The bill's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So it's expensive. And people right now, I feel like in South Florida.
But it's everywhere like that.
Yeah.
It's not just BRGR Stop, so don't get that twisted.
Yeah.
Go to Five Guys, and I was paying $20 for one burger. I didn't even have a shake, a drink, and fries.
Yeah.
And I told the guy, hey, I said one burger, bro. And he's like, yeah. And I look at the prices, I was like, I swear I was here. Like, I think I went at a time where they priced up. Like, I was there like last week from the time I was there, and I paid maybe $15 or whatever. I was like, whoa, I had that shock when I was like, everybody's lunch.
And that's
$20.
nothing else. And that's nothing else. You're just getting the burger at that point.
Well, the problem is the cost of beef is through the roof.
Yep.
So in Mexico, there's a problem for like the last 8 or 9 months. It's called the New World Screwworm. And with this problem, so there's a facility, I believe it's in Panama. It's owned by the U.S. government and the Panamanian government. And I believe since 1967, they have kept the screwworm under control where it has not passed Panama at all. Because what they do is they release sterile flies out into that area.
Yeah.
And it basically I don't know exactly what it does, but it curves the population and it slows it down where it just doesn't keep coming north.
Okay.
Well, this year was the first time ever it got past, and it's all the way within 100 miles of our border in Mexico, and they've stopped a lot of live cattle imports.
I had no idea about
so
that.
live cattle imports have stopped from, I believe, all of South America. Maybe not all of South America, but Mexico and a couple other places for like the last, I want to say 8 or 9 months. Live cattle. So actually, it's all live stock, livestock, and that has driven the cost of the commodity beef up so high, and also the U.S. herd is down at an all-time low. So as demand goes up and the supply goes down, the price skyrockets.
Yeah.
So the cost of beef right now is through the roof. So it's very difficult to be in the burger or the steak business without raising your price. Now with steaks, if someone's used to paying $90 for a steak and they have to pay $110, it's no big deal. Yeah. But when you're a family coming in and your burger goes from $15 to $18, it does become a big deal. So, we've tried to add other products onto our menu that are more cost effective for the clients and more profitable for us. Yeah. Hence back to 7th Street Burger. I saw that our numbers were declining and I was like, what are we going to do? And at one point I was like, I'm done. We can't continue to do this. We're going to lose our ass. Yeah. So I called a real estate group here in South Florida, and I was like, what could we fire sale our stores for? This was probably like 2 years ago. And I called my partner and I said, this is getting ugly. I'm just going to make a call just to see. And what happened was this, and this is a true story. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care whoever's a believer or not. I was driving down the road. I remember exactly where I was, and I closed my eyes when I got to the red light, and I said, God, what do I do? What do I do? Is this a give up moment? Or what do I do? And he just he just spoke to me. And in my head, he just spoke to me. And I went home and I stayed up till 5 a.m. I went through every item that we sold for the last year at both stores. And I just started Xing items off the menu. Xing. I put a smash burger menu on with single, double, triple. I did the BRGR Stop way. I did the hot boy, and I did a bacon double smash, right? Because that's obviously, just a popular way to have a burger.
Yeah.
And once I did that and implemented it, we did it at Coconut Creek first. And immediately our sales started skyrocketing on those burgers. Now the cost on those burgers is less because they're smaller.
Yeah.
And if people order a single, now there's an option for people for $11, which that option
So you
didn't exist
simplified your
before.
menu.
I didn't.
In a way.
I simplified part of the menu, but then I put option on there. Number one, the smash burger craze was already starting to take off in LA and in New York. And this was before Skinny Louie's opened in Miami, but there was already a couple smash burger places there. I believe Ted's was there doing their pop-ups at Jay Wakefield. And I was like, okay, this is the future right here. For now, this is where we got to go. But not only is it more profitable and cost effective for us, it's more cost effective for the customer.
It's a win-win both ways.
Yes, it's a win-win.
And you cut dead weight too at the same time. You cut a bunch of dead weight items that weren't selling, that were expensive, that were perishables, and you're like, wow, I'm just taking a loss.
Because that was my question. Because I remember when I was there years ago, you had every burger was so different that in my mind I was like, great for the options, right? But then I was like, wait, how do they keep all this stuff in stock? Is everything
hard.
moving? Like, because it's very unique.
Yeah.
So the reason why, I mean, some of these places like 7th Street Burger and also like even the most popular right now, Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
Their menu, like if you think about it, break it down, all they order is chicken and it's chicken tenders. It's not the patty. So chicken tenders, they got to make their own batter, the bread, and then fries. That's it. So that inventory order probably takes 5 minutes to do.
Yep.
Instead of saying I need this, and that. And the CEO always talks about it. He even goes on Shark Tank and stuff like that. He talks about it. He's like, people thought I was crazy for doing such a simplistic concept, but it's about branding. And if you brand that thing up, that's it. Keep it simple, done.
It's the way it works. If you look at like Skinny Louie's, right? Skinny Louie's is scaled. All these other burger bars have scaled. And when you look at this and you say, why are these places successful? What's the difference between BRGR Stop and these other places that are doing so much better than us? And it's not that they're doing anything groundbreaking. They're being intelligent and they're like, okay, we're giving people a good product for a good price and we're limiting our menu and keeping it simple. Look at Dave's Hot Chicken, right? Dave's Hot Chicken was the fastest scaling QSR in the United States. I believe they sold for $1.2 billion about maybe, I can't remember if it was January last year. It was in the last 8 or 9 months. Mm-hmm. So that being said, they sold to private equity and now they continue to expand and open. It's a very simple menu, just like Raising Cane's, right? It's chicken tenders, different sauces. You can get the tender, you can get it on a slider. That's it.
Yeah.
Same thing with like Skinny Louie's or 7th Street Burger or any of these other, tons of smash burger places that are opening, and they're opening everywhere all the time. New burger places all the time. So I just read this morning, right? So you go to Wynwood and you have Lala's, you have, Ted's, you have Liberia Bar, you have Skinny Louie's, and I think there's like 4 or 5 others, and there's more opening. And then Al Cheval just announced today they're opening up in Miami. So it's like burger. How many burger places can you have before this dies out, right?
Yeah.
It's going to die out. And every time someone else opens up, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the most successful place in the world. Every time a new place opens up, they take a little slice of your pie. Yeah. So you start with 100% of a pie, and then every place that opens up, that pie gets smaller and smaller. Mm-hmm. So your market share dwindles, and then the whole market falls apart because everybody starts getting smaller and smaller, and then you start seeing places close. And whoever ends up at the top, my partner kept saying to us, to me during COVID, if we make it through COVID, we're gonna be here, right? Yeah. And then after COVID, then the cost of goods skyrocketed, right? Then you got to make it through that. And then the labor, trying to find labor. Yeah. It's been one thing after another. And the economy's been a shit show for fucking years now. So it's been very difficult. But here we are, right? We're still here. Yeah. We're still chugging along and we're turning it around. So the smash burger thing helped us tremendously. Then we introduced, the fried chicken sandwiches, like our Nashville hot chicken sandwich. You know, chicken thighs don't cost a lot. So we're able to offer that at a cheap price. So we have options available for people who are saying Burger Stop is super expensive. So now we have things that people can have. You know, like for me, I'm not really into fries, right? So if I came in, I would just get a double smash. I don't drink soda. I get a water. So for $13.50, I'm done. You know, and now I can go there 2 times a week, 3 times a week.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting hungry talking about
I'm pretty
this
hungry
food.
too.
Hey, I also think that the setting that we're in, I think we need to be in a different setting to talk about this food. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Whoa, where are we at here, brother?
Oh man,
This is, now we can talk about food.
You said you're hungry.
Hey,
Well, it's time to eat.
okay. So this is the Coconut Creek location.
Yep.
The homeland, the mothership right here, right?
This is the
where it
OG.
started it all.
This is the OG.
Well, I mean, some of you guys can definitely tell the decor and stuff like that. I mean, this is where you were talking about that retro vibe, that kind of gastropub. I mean, this is awesome, man. I mean, don't mind us if we got people running back and forth. If there's a fry or something, you know.
It's packed here, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
So now that we're here and we're in the actual kitchen per se, let's talk about food. Josh, I'm gonna let you open this up here.
Yeah.
Man. What you got?
Man, so Mike, why don't we talk about something that I think needs to be addressed? It's the elephant in the room, right? And it's the fact that there's been a lot of talk, there's been a lot of chatter. Tell us a little more about this chatter on the cheesesteak streets of South Florida.
There's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of chatter. So, you know, I love cheesesteaks. Cheesesteaks, you know, one of my favorite foods since I'm a kid. And, you know, we've always done cheesesteaks, you know, in pizzerias that I've owned. And, you know, I would say it was about 4 or 5 years ago. I was in Cafe Moderano's. I had the cheesesteak there. Stevie's cheesesteak's one of my favorite. I love his food. And he's such a good person. And I was in love with the bread. I said, the bread is phenomenal. So what I did was, you know, I had sent him a text message that night. And I said, hey, I'm a little embarrassed, but I'd like to ask you a question. He goes, what do you be embarrassed about? You can ask me anything, Mike. So I said, you know, where do you get your bread from for the cheesesteaks? Because I would like to do a cheesesteak at my place. And I want to do like an elevated cheesesteak. And I really like that bread because that bread is not traditional Philly bread. It's like a nice upscale, you know, artisan loaf.
Yeah.
So that being said, you know, he told me, you know, we use a Gran Forno in Las Olas. And, you know, here's, you know, the gentleman's number. So I gave him a call and we started doing the cheesesteaks. So right off the rip, we started selling cheesesteaks like crazy, you know, and we do, you know, a duck fat infused, you know, hand shaved prime ribeye. You know, we do the artisan loaf. We do a black garlic aioli. So is it your traditional Philly? No, it's not. It's an elevated Philly. That's why we call it the Cheesesteak Project. You know, we don't call it a Philly steak and cheese or a Philly cheesesteak. We call it the Cheesesteak Project because that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so we ran with that, you know, for a few years, and then we did a special on Thursdays, and we give like basically a cost plus just a little bit to cover the labor.
Yeah.
You know, so people that would like to have that sandwich can come in on Thursdays and get that sandwich for, you know, a deal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a loss leader on that day, but you know, people that maybe can't afford it on other days, you know, they come in because honestly, that sandwich should be like $26, $27 for the cost of it that we, you know, that it costs us to make.
Yeah.
You know, so
For sure.
that being said, recently, you know, we've been talking a lot about cheesesteaks, and we took a little venture to Miami, and we went to you know, several places that we wanted to try out.
Yeah.
Now, one of these places is a place that's down there that, you know, we won't mention any names. And you know,
can though. This is unfiltered, bro.
No, I'm not. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
But they are the self-proclaimed, not only.
They're self-proclaimed best and only cheesesteak in Florida.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, I was excited to go there. You know, so we went there. You and I went there. You know,
You detoured me. You actually forced me to go there. You said we have to go to this particular spot.
You actually missed your shoot with Vinny's MIA because of that detour, and then you know their generator broke, so you weren't able to, you know, do that shoot anyway later in the night when we were on our way there. I said my must is to go to this place.
Yeah.
So we went there, and the pizza was spectacular. The pizza lived up to the hype. I was very excited about the pizza. You know, that being said, you know, when I had the cheesesteak, you know, I was a little bit taken back, to be honest, you know.
Yeah.
And again, I have not said anything online
Too much
about
hype.
this gentleman's food, you know. You know, I have no problem with this guy. I don't know him at all. But, you know, when you're out there and you're putting out videos that I'm the best and the only, and you're basically combating videos from other places, and, you know, whether it's staged or not, it doesn't even matter, right?
Yeah.
Because it was not just that. It's an Italian beef video. It's a chicken parm video. And, you know, when I went there, I was like, man, this guy got a lot of balls, this guy, putting out these videos.
Yeah.
And, you know, from my opinion, it was a little bit lackluster, you know?
Yeah.
And that's all I'll say. I'm not going to say anything in a negative light, right?
And that's where I think marketing comes to play. So I want to talk about, just like how you were saying, like some people are self-proclaiming themselves. That's all marketing,
Yeah.
And listen, you got to market in this industry. You have to.
100%.
But at the end of the day, if you say that you're good at something, then goddamn it, be good at it, man. Because if not, then you're gonna fall flat on your face. People are gonna call you out. The hype, the expectation is not gonna be there, right? And everybody has different taste buds and all, especially when it comes to food. So I understand. Just some people might like it, some people might not. But hot dogs, burgers, pizza, and even cheesesteaks, I think they all fall into that category where there's so much competition.
100%.
So it's very difficult. It's like saying I'm the best lawyer, and how many lawyers out there, right? It's like, what do you mean? How are you the best lawyer, right? So.
And everybody likes a different style. It all depends on what you grew up with.
Preference. It's what you're in the mood for,
exactly.
right?
Was that our food? Damn, bro, you got to stop, man. Come over here, man. He's going to
Oh, man, there's a lot of food rolling out.
You guys peeped that. Hey, Carl, screenshot that food in the background. Put it right.
Now, listen, like this guy's place is a busy place. This guy's a successful guy.
Yeah.
This has nothing against this guy in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
But, that night when we came back over here to BRGR Stop, I dropped off Josh and Santo. And I sat in my car and I was just thinking, and I shot a little video in my car and I sent it to Josh. Yeah. And Josh was like, yo, that's crazy. And I said, what do you think about maybe shooting this video in the store tomorrow and we put it out on the internet?
Yeah.
And again,
we did.
So there's been a lot of controversy about this video because people say, oh, Mike, why are you being cocky saying you're the best and you're the only? And I said, no. You need to listen again.
Yeah.
Because in the video, what it basically says is there's people out there saying that they're the best, that they're the only. And I compliment other people in the video of places that I like. Not only that, then I go to describe what we do here. We describe our cheesesteak and what we do and everything that's going on there.
Yeah.
That way, so I'm just letting you know what time it is, brother. We got our own and ours is good. So you want to be the only and the best? God bless you, my friend. But you ain't the only and the best, and that's a fact.
Yeah, and I just want to weigh in on this, right? I am the food reviewer after all, ladies and gentlemen, and we went there. Pizza was excellent. Actually surpassed all expectations, right? But then the cheesesteak rolls out, and there's a lot of anticipation about this said here cheesesteak, all right? And we get there, and each of us all take one bite, and I look at that, and I mean, I taste it. I'm like, wow, this cheesesteak does not taste like anything special, to be quite honest with you. And for you to really hype something up, like you're putting a target on your back, all right? And we just came to see what the hype was about, bro. And I'll be frank, the hype wasn't there. Now, am I open to coming back and let you shoot another shot? Most definitely. But cheesesteak was not up to par, and that chicken sandwich, I was one and done on the bite. And I haven't had that situation happen yet, so.
And the official name of your cheesecake is, what's the name that you guys have?
The Cheesesteak Project.
The Cheesesteak Project,
Yeah.
okay. Where did this is going to slap you so hard that it's going to slap your mama, where'd that come from?
Spur of the moment?
Yeah, it was just like, when I was doing it, it was like, I was like, yo, this is a big boy cheesesteak. This cheesesteak slap you right in the face. This ain't your mama's cheesesteak. This is an elevated cheesesteak. This is the Cheesesteak Project. This is just different. Listen, like you just said, right? With burgers, cheesesteaks, pizza, everybody's preference is from what they grew up on. So with cheesesteaks, right? You got people that grew up with, like the Whiz era. You got people that grew up with the provolone
Peppers,
era.
onions, mushrooms.
You got people that grew up with the Cooper Sharp, or some people just like white American. There's a lot of preferences. And then with the bread, right? So there's a lot of people from back in the day, old school, that they like the Amoroso bread. So now Amoroso is commercialized. It's frozen. It comes in from the purveyors, right? The broadliners. Then you got the Lissio's frozen rolls. And then you got people who bake their own bread. Then you got people who have bakeries bake the bread for them. So it depends on what is it that you grew up with? What is it that you like? So is it a traditional Philly? No. But what is a traditional Philly? Is it from this block? Is it from South Philly?
Yeah.
Where is it from?
That's true.
So it all depends on what you like. So, you do yours your way. We do ours our way. Is yours wrong? No. Is ours wrong? No. Yeah. This is 2025. This is coming in 2026. It's elevated. It's different.
Yeah.
And there's variations on every single thing out there.
Yeah.
So, nobody's doing wrong and nobody's doing right. I'm just saying, you know what time it is. Ours is good too. That's all.
There it is. You heard it here first. Now, I know you guys, you also do like burgers of the month, shakes of the month. Is that every single month, or is it?
Every month.
Okay, and how talk about the process that goes into that, is it? Because a lot of people probably think, they just pick one from the menu and call it a day. But you guys go a little deeper in that.
It's not copycat. Everything's original here.
Yeah, so, I like to really delve into and give a lot of thought into what we're going to put out there. I want something that's different always. Mm-hmm. And it's hard. We've been open for 10 years.
Yeah.
And there's been months that we've done the same burger a couple times. There's been a couple times that I've been slacking, and it was the same burger for 3 months. But for a long time now, we've been back on point and firing on all cylinders with the burgers of the month, trying to come up with super creative items that really you can't get anywhere else. These are items that you can only get here.
Yeah.
When BRGR Stop first opened up, how we got busy was we had items that no one else had, and that's the thing, right? Everybody's got burgers. Every restaurant's got burgers.
Yeah.
So when you have things that you can't get anywhere else, and you can change the game a little bit, that's how people start coming. We had people come from Kendall. We had people coming from North Palm Beach. Every single Friday and Saturday night, my partner and I were here opening the door for people. We had a little table outside, and we're asking people, where'd you come from? Oh, we came from Miami. We came from this place, that place. And I was like, man, I can't believe you guys drove that far.
Yeah.
Oh, we seen you on Instagram. We seen you on Facebook. We seen you all over the internet. And people come in, and everybody's taking pictures. We got voted most Instagrammable restaurant in South Florida.
Oh, that's awesome.
So in today's world of social media, like you said, it's marketing, right?
Yep.
So we just did this video just to, throw out a little shot. That's all. And we're not a cheesesteak place.
Yeah.
And the meat that we use is all either prime, Wagyu, or dry aged. And we can't get enough of it to ever even open a cheesesteak place. And it's like when we run out, we've been selling out almost every day.
Yeah.
So when it's gone, it's gone. This isn't something that any restaurant could buy enough of to open up a cheesesteak place. It's just an afterthought, and it's a good sandwich. And it's actually my favorite menu item for the last 4 or 5 years. But now it's like every time I walk in the door, in the last, couple times that I'm here, because I don't live in the area, people are like, oh, you're the TikTok guy. You're the guy from the internet, blah, blah, blah. And I'm getting phone calls all day long about the cheesesteak war and this and that, the next thing. I was never meant for any of that. But, like I was told by the gentleman, it's marketing here too.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, 100%. I mean, essentially what you created the BRGR Stop standard. Because if you notice from you talking, you've been saying from the burgers down to the shakes, down to the Philly, you don't just say like if tomorrow you want to come up with a hot dog, you don't just put a hot dog on the bun and call it a day, and you actually are gonna do your science, do your
well thought out.
research,
Yeah,
and
there's a
then
lot of
it's the
thought that goes
BRGR
into
Stop standard, and if you approve it, then like you said, if it's not something you're gonna eat or it's something you're gonna feed for your mom, you're gonna dish it out. So
Yeah, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So the burger of the month last month was called the Onion Affair, right? So I try to come up with things that, like I said, that people don't have. We had a dry aged burger. Not many people serve a dry aged burger, right? So the cheese that we used for that burger was a caramelized onion, old English aged cheddar, right? This cheese was $21 a pound.
Blow your socks
So
off.
do we make money on that? No, we lost money on that.
Yeah.
But it gets people in the door and gets them something different. That burger should have been $26, $27.
Yeah.
So we do things here that allows people to try and experience something else, and then hopefully they come in for other items. And then for that month they get to enjoy it. And then sometimes a burger of the month does so well, we'll knock a burger off the menu and we'll put the burger of the month on the regular menu. So we've been doing a lot of like rotating stuff lately.
Like the
too.
plantain poppy.
The plantain poppy's coming soon. That burger probably sold more than any burger of the
My
month I've
highest
had in
rated
the last
burger.
4 or 5 years.
My highest rated burger
Yeah.
to date, I think it was a 9.5.
Yeah, and that plantain poppy, believe it or not,
Yeah.
I had, and this has been 2 burgers that took me like this. I thought about that burger for almost 3 years.
Wow.
I know it sounds stupid, but I just was like, it kept coming to me. What am I going to do? What
it
am I
just
going to
wasn't
change?
slapped together. In other words.
And there was another burger that we did called the Suck It Up Buttercup. That one, same thing.
good
That was
one.
in my
Try
head for
it.
like 2-3 years.
Reese's, with Reese's.
Yeah, that was a Reese's peanut butter stuffed
Reese's.
chocolate, like dark chocolate cocoa powder, encrusted burger with chocolate peanut butter and smoked Gouda and candied bacon. Yeah, that burger was fire. And then I get blasted on the internet. Oh, you're disgusting. You put peanut butter on a burger, chocolate on a burger. What the hell's wrong with you? We'll never eat there again. Listen, people take this so serious. This is just
blasphemy,
it's a hamburger. What are you talking about?
You're a heretic, Mike.
It's just a burger. You're just doing stuff that's fun and cool, just to get people, to try new funky things. Our slogan was always, like funky foods, good vibes, and that's it. So we just try to do, different, unique things here to set us apart from everybody else. When we started, there wasn't a lot of burger people in the game. Now there's burger places open all over the place.
Yeah.
So we just try to keep elevating our game to differentiate ourselves from other people.
Which is, you answered part of the question that I had, because it's true. There's a lot of burger places and chicken wing places that are opening up.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a lot of them they're finding out the hard way. We talked about it earlier, where they're just slapping sauces and calling it a day and then just coming up with a name. Back in the days, it may have worked, and it did work at some point.
Yeah.
But now people see through all the bullshit straight up, and then they're gonna taste it and be like, "Yeah, this is not." If it doesn't taste better than you're cooking at home, then they're not gonna come back. What you got over there, John?
Sorry, guys.
Hey, this is Unfiltered, bro. We ain't cutting that out.
Yeah, we're not going to cut it out. Shame on me.
I think the consumer now is much more educated than they were before.
I agree with that.
With the
I agree
internet,
with that.
with with social media influencers, with the Food Network, with all these things that are available, to access for the consumer, you have to elevate your game because people know what good food is now. Before, you had to go to a fine dining restaurant to get good food, and you didn't have all this stuff all over online, and people didn't see. But now it's in your face every single day. And the places that are spending money to market their place, so you see what's out there, people want that food. They see it, they desire it, they want it. So your average consumer is much more elevated in their thought process of what they think is good food in today's market. So, if you don't keep elevating your game, then you go out like the dinosaurs. That's just the way it is.
One thing we can't leave out, your craft beers.
Craft beers.
So are these locally brewed? Do you guys brew them? What's the process selection of that? Do you guys rotate them every so often? Because I'm looking at the board over here, and we'll probably put a picture of that on the video. And I mean, the names just by themselves are very interesting. So how does that work? Do you work with local breweries? What's your process when it comes to the craft?
So when we first opened up, we worked. I only would have local craft beers, all Florida beers. That's all we had for years. Distribution started becoming a problem in the craft beer industry, and you weren't really able to get the same beers that you were able to get at the brewery itself. Okay. Like, for an example, like you go to Funky Buddha, they have 20, 30 beers, whatever, right? But you can only get a certain amount of SKUs from the distributor. So
I see.
They have special release beers, seasonal beers, and we would get allocated a lot of good beers for a long time. Okay. During COVID, the craft beer industry kind of fell down a lot, and you really couldn't get a lot of things. So we started carrying a lot of national brands. Yeah. We, brought in, a little bit before that, we brought in, regular beers like Budweiser, Bud Light, Corona, whatever, all the regular bottles. Because in the beginning, I wanted to be, super craft and whatever, but you also have to cater to people that don't want that. Yeah. If someone wants a burger and you don't offer them, a Mick Ultra, it's number one beer in the country.
Makes sense,
So we brought in all that, and we kind of kept it hidden in the back. But, as far as craft beers goes now, we use probably 4 or 5 different distributors. Okay. They send me lists every week, and I look through every week, and then, I place our orders depending on the type of beer we need or what we have on tap already or what I think is going to sell well in our store, and sometimes even by name. Because believe it or not, a lot lot of people buy the beer just by the name.
That's true.
So you get a good name,
I'm looking
and
at
the beers will sell out right away.
Mexican hot chocolate milk snout, bro. I'm like, what? And then I saw 6%. I was like, oh, this is a beer.
Yeah.
Now, do you another thing I've seen some restaurants do where they pair certain foods, in this case, any of the items on there with a certain beer, so because they complement each other. The one that does that a lot is actually BJ's Brewery. Yeah. They compliment like, hey, this steak will go well with this. It is a part of marketing, so you get the two. Yeah. Do you do any of that by any chance? You pair it up?
No, we don't do too many beer pairings. What we used to do for the first few years, we would have events all the time. We called them tap takeovers. Okay. So we would pick a brewery, invite them here. We would get about 7, 8 of their kegs on tap. We would serve their beers, and what I would do is I would incorporate those beers into food. So I would do like a sauce with the beer, or we would do beer milkshakes. We would incorporate the beer into the food, which really no one else was doing that at the time, and it did well. But what happened was, you get stuck with all. We only had a little space at that point. Yeah. Now we're a little bit bigger, but we get stuck with all that beer, and the beer ends up staying too long and goes bad. Yeah. Because when people come in and see 7 beers from the same brewery, they want a variety. Yeah. Even though they are different beers, they're all from the same brewery. Yeah. It really didn't work out that well for us. So we stopped doing that because the cost of buying all those beers was not, conducive to what we were trying to do for the tap takeovers.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Makes sense. Something I want to kind of just take a step back towards, guys, is that, talking about your process, right? Your burger, your shake of the month, and so on and so forth. And one thing that I got to say, guys, this guy is an absolute professor in the kitchen, all right? I mean, he's on the phone. Him and I are talking different ingredients, different flavors, and he's actually able to put all this together, have his people here in another state put it together, and I don't know, 9 out of 10 times that food is excellent the way it is. Maybe it needs a little fine tuning, but for the most part, it's excellent. And you're able to put that up in your mind, Mike. Like, I want to tip my hat to you quite literally because
thank you,
that you put that magic together.
Josh, I wanted to touch upon, since you're talking about your history here. Yeah. I'll talk about the fact that at one point, from what I heard, you were done with influencers. And then
why don't we talk about that?
Let's talk about it, right?
It's raw, unfiltered,
Let's
baby.
Talk and chatter about that too. So this is what happened, right? We had done some influencers in Fort Lauderdale when we first opened, and it definitely helped us. We had a PR company that we worked with for a couple months, and we got a big influx of big influencers from Miami. Mm-hmm. I became very friendly with all these guys, and throughout the few years before COVID, anytime I had something new, I would call them and let them know, hey, I got these new things. And the response usually was, hey, if you don't call anybody else first, I'll come and I'll film it, but I want to be the first. So I would kind of rotate, through people and do, our new foods like that. Then we just kind of stopped doing influencers, and I just kind of really maybe just forgot about it, And
you had a bad taste in your mouth. We won't address it directly.
No, I had a little bad taste in my mouth from a few certain things, and we just kind of rolled on our own, right? So I would say it was probably maybe in June of this year, I started seeing a lot of restaurants like, I'll just give you an example.
Adam and Joe's.
Adam and Joe's, Death by Pizza, a lot of influencers going in one after another. Yeah. And I was like, this is like the new marketing, right? So before you would take a picture of food, you'd put a little thing, you hashtag whatever, and you put it online. Well, it just stopped working. Our Facebook ads, our Instagram ads, it's just like throwing the money in the garbage at this point.
Yeah.
It's got to be reels and videos. Now, because, I didn't live here, I can't be here every day doing these things. So we were kind of falling behind. And I had a good friend of mine that lives close by here doing videos for us for a while. And, I would shoot some videos when I come. But I was like, this needs to be a regular thing, like all the time. Yeah. So, I said, maybe I'll reach out to, some influencers. And then I didn't, to be honest. Yep. So,
they ended up reaching out to you, didn't they?
They did. So I started getting phone calls from my manager. And he's like, yo, this guy keeps coming in over and over again saying he wants to do a video here and he's going to be an influencer and you know him. And I'm like, I don't know who you're talking about. He's describing me, this guy, and telling me over and over again. And I'm like, man, this fucking guy keeps calling on over and over again.
Yeah.
And so, one day I was at home and I wasn't busy at the time, which is rare. And I get this phone call from Steven and he's like, yo, this guy's here again. Please call him, bro. He just keeps coming and coming and coming. Just give him a call. He's getting annoying here. So I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that. I'm not calling right now.
Persistence pays off.
Yeah. So I call and it's Josh. And Josh is like, hey, I'm getting married to, one of the girls that used to work here as a server, Barbara, when we first opened up.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you remember me. And we start talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm like,
2 hours later.
Maybe I do remember this guy a little bit. And then, but anyway, we hit it off. And Josh is a fantastic human being. We've become very close friends. He's a super creative guy. Bless you, by the way. Very creative guy, just like me. And, I enjoy speaking to him. And so we start talking all the time. And, I was like, you know what? Fine, let's do the video, right? Yeah. So he did a video. Then someone else did a video. Then someone else did a video. And then it just started rolling. And we started, having a lot of influencers coming in, all the time. Mm-hmm. Some scheduled, some just pop in, whatever. Yeah. And it started, helping us a little bit here and there. And even if every person just gets you a few people, because it's funny with the influencers, right? I've talked to over probably 150 influencers in the last 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And I've had some deep conversations with some because most of them are pretty creative and I get stuck talking all day long to these people, but it's some of them guarantee you this, they guarantee you that, I'll change your business, I'll change that. Look, from what I've seen, the micro influencers have had the biggest impact on me. People that have less than 5,000 people that are maybe in your area. Now, do some of these influencers out there come in and change people's businesses? Absolutely. I personally haven't seen it, but I've heard stories from people that I've known that it has helped them tremendously. Yeah. But the thing with restaurants is when you make profit, a small restaurant like this only operates on like 8 to 11% profit. Mm-hmm. So if you have an influencer come in and they're asking you for $1,000, let's just say.
That's insane.
And then you give them $200 in food. You have to do $12,000 to get an ROI. Yeah. It's not happening. You're not getting it, period. Yeah. So the way I look at it is like, listen, if I like their style of video and they're not going to do it for free, it is what it is. I give them what I think is fair, but it's nowhere near usually what they ask because to me, I just look at it as advertising dollars. Yeah. That's it. So my partner and I, we had a big talk about this and that's, you do it for advertising. That's it. And then as we talked, I was like, you know what? It's hard to get sometimes your staff to sell the burger in a month, the shake in a month. So I was like, you know what? I have a good idea. I called Josh and I said, yo, would you be open to doing a burger and shake in a month video for us? And I think that would help. We'll get it out there. And then that way we don't have to have the servers pushing, and people will start coming in and asking for it. And that's worked out very well for us so far.
Man, Mike, you got to do it like this? Like what? Walk us through this, brother. What is all of this?
Yeah, what is happening right here, Mike?
All right, so we got a couple more things coming out in the back, but right here, this is the Big Sexy. This is our #1 selling burger, always. For like the last 10 years, this burger is always our #1 seller. Then we have our Double Smash the Burger Stop way, which is probably our second most popular. And third most popular is our Double Smash, the Bacon Double Smash.
Okay.
So these are our 2 chicken cheesesteaks. We have the Wingman, which is a buffalo chicken cheesesteak. And then we have the lemon pepper hot honey chicken cheesesteak with a pepperoni aioli. So these right here use the same bread that we use for our cheesesteak, our Gran Forno artisan loaf. And we use fresh chicken thighs. We hand shave the chicken thighs on the slicer. And the chicken thighs have a good fat content. So it just differentiates us from everybody else. You know, a lot of people, they buy the frozen chicken that's in between paper. And we don't do that, you know. We buy fresh chicken thighs, we shave them down, and then we cook them to order. I mean, this is good stuff right here. A lot different than most people, what they do.
So we have an all-star lineup right here, right? Now, Chris, who's been fasting for quite some time, what would you pick for him to break his fast with right here out of this all-star lineup? Come on, Mike.
Out of all this right here,
Yeah.
I would say probably the Big Sexy.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would say the Big
Yeah,
Sexy.
I told you, Chris.
We need a knife for that.
I got you. I'll be right back. Beautiful. All right,
And
this
then
is
we
just
have
project,
to try
correct?
this.
Can I just have one knife?
This Philly, you know, because I haven't personally tried it yet.
Thank
so,
you, sir.
Well, the star to show the Phillies are coming out in a minute.
Okay.
Look at that. The cheese
there it is.
Steak project.
That's
Right
the
on-
cheesesteak
right on
project.
time.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Do the honors.
Right on time. So
And then the cheesesteak of the month, the Not Your Mama's cheesesteak's coming out in a second.
Oh, look at that big sexy. Mm-hmm. Oh, look at that.
Oh, you see the
So
juices
tell us some
dripping
more
out?
about what's in there. Describe this as he embarks upon this journey.
Well, the Big Sexy is 2 8-ounce patties. It's bacon. It's white cheddar. It's
Oh my God!
over
Look at
easy
that double
egg.
stack. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
this
Yeah,
is crazy.
This is good stuff.
This
right
ain't
here.
Photoshop.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
this is
Wow.
good stuff right here.
Vision Twins, don't mind him, all right? Don't mind him. He's running his ass off for this, all right? He earned this right. By the way, my man Chris, he's down over 110 pounds to date, y'all. That's determination, consistency, resilience, and that's why he has cheat meals like this today.
Damn, bro. Yeah. All right. Big Sexy for sure. It ain't gonna make you look sexy, but it's gonna taste sexy.
Yeah.
Woo! Wow. Wait, is that an egg?
That's an egg. Yep.
Yo. This is the number one seller, you would say, like the originator, like your Big Mac of Burger Stop.
My PB&J, the
yeah.
PB&J is for me.
Oh, the PB&J was the first burger I ever put on the menu. Yeah.
See?
Yeah, that was the peanut butter jelly time was number one.
Do we have? Could we get like empty some of these?
You want
trays?
jerky ones? Yeah.
Yeah, so I can put that.
Just do this, though, buddy. Here we go.
There we go. That way I can just put that there. So
And now we give that to one of the ladies.
Yeah,
Ladies, y'all, anybody interested in a Big Sexy? Yeah? Okay. So boom, we got that. And then what else would y'all like a taste of? Talk to
well,
us.
which is the other cheesecake still not out, or is this it?
This is the cheesesteak project. This is our regular cheesesteak, and then the cheesesteak of the month, the Not Your Mama's cheesesteak. That one's coming out right now.
Okay. So Josh, you tried all this, I presume.
Yes, I have
I think Josh
tried.
has run through a whole menu already.
Yeah, most of the menu. There's still things I'm still uncovering, right? Like I recently tried his lemon pepper wings. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Some of the best wings. But let's talk about this, huh? I mean, when it comes to originals, I absolutely love the cheesesteak project. The duck fat separates itself.
Yeah.
There's black garlic aioli on there. I'm in
There
love
is,
with the
there
black
is, there
garlic
is.
aioli. I could bathe in it, all right? I could swim in it, all right? You name it. I mean, that black garlic is next level.
Anytime I get a smash burger, like when I want something, I just get a double smash with the black garlic aioli. That's my.
I gotta
that's
try
my
the
go-to.
smash because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Try that
honest.
smash, Chris.
I haven't. I keep hearing about these smash burgers and I haven't.
Ooh, look at that steam check, ladies and gentlemen. Oh,
There's one.
that looks brilliant, Mike.
Thank you, Josh.
Really. And you know another thing, guys, I want to spotlight? When I went back there to the kitchen, Mike wasn't the one chefing up the food, all right? So that shows you that quality control is apparent here at BRGR Stop, all right? Meaning
wow.
Mike doesn't have to be here and the food's still going to be bomb. I've gone to many places where the owner themselves made the food for me, and it was fantastic, right? But then I had other people going after and said it wasn't. Chris?
Why does the patty taste different compared to like a traditional burger?
So this is 100% chuck. That's a chuck short rib brisket blend. And then when you smash it down, it gets that Maillard, which is that crunchy exterior. So it always tastes a little bit different.
Okay. Oh, Not Your Mama's. Shout out to a guy right here. Number one right here. Number one in our hearts.
So this is the cheesesteak of the month.
That's the cheesesteak of the month, and not your mama's cheesesteak.
That's what I got slapped in the face with, quite literally.
Yeah.
Okay?
I want to see that video again right here, please.
Yeah.
Just throw it as a gift for a little bit.
Yeah. We'll throw that on there, guys. Me getting slapped in the face with a cheesesteak. There's 3 different ways, all right? But that, not your mama's cheesesteak.
You already tried that one, Josh?
Oh, yeah. That's unbelievable.
So, I'm presuming it's spicy?
It's got
It's a little bit
to it.
spicy. It's
Okay.
got a hot cherry pepper aioli. It's got a house-made provolone Cooper Sharp whiz.
Oh, that whiz.
With, fried onions, and it's got the cherry pepper relish on top.
Oh, man. Look at the steam just foaming out of that thing, huh? So I'm going to go with the OG right now. I'm going to take a bite of this bad boy, all right? This is a cheesesteak project. Again, I love that black garlic aioli. You got the beautiful caramelized
So
onions.
I've been to Philly, and me and my wife, we were disappointed in some of the Phillies over there. Now, the reason why, because we're not from there. I'm from New York, but, for me to have an original of something, I've already had so many remixes of the original, so I'm used to that than I am the original. So I was a little like, oh, there's not enough sauce, not enough, it tastes good, but it wasn't like out of this world. Dang, this is delicious. It's creamy. It's like it just melts in
Thank
your
you, brother.
mouth.
Thank you.
This ain't just something you slap together, bro.
That ain't your mama's cheesesteak, baby.
No.
That ain't your mama's cheesesteak.
Wow.
And Chris, would you say it's certified? You have to tell us.
I think this probably be the first time we say it on camera. I don't know. Did we?
Yeah, I don't know if you said it.
Josh.
Cheers, brother.
And this is certified. Well, listen, guys. While we continue eating here, we're going to wrap up this episode here. For the ones that have not seen the rest of the content, please go follow Josh Eats FL because he has probably reviewed all of these already.
Yep.
And he literally has a library for you to watch where he dabbles into the taste, what it is,
flavor,
you'll see the juices, the cheeses, everything, the pulls. I mean, definitely go to his page. BRGR Stop. You guys just BRGR Stop throughout your socials?
Both, too.
Or is it BRGR Stop FL? Or is it just
BRGR Stop is the Coconut Creek and BRGR Stop FT Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll put both of the locations on this video as well. We'll tag them. 2 locations, Coconut Creek, Fort Lauderdale. So, I mean, that's where we're at, right? So
there's one last thing, Chris.
One last thing. What we got over there, Josh?
All right. One more time.
Can't forget about it.
The champ is here. Wait, put your arm out, Mike. We're going to put it right. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. The champ is here. If you guys have any questions about BRGR Stop, any doubt in your mind, just know it's been, certified.
There it is.
My man Mike, my man Chris, Unfiltered FTL, thank you so much for making this possible.
Mike, thank you for being part of this.
Yo, thank you
I'm going
very
to give
much.
you a
I
dab.
appreciate it, brother.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Josh.
We'll take it from there. All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.